Welcome to another edition of All Ball Chicago. I'm your co-host, Robert Bobby Reed, and I got the legend, the NBA veteran, the Mcdonald All-American, your host, Marcus, living in the building. What's up, Marcus?
What's up, my beautiful people?
He finna bust out that song one of these days. And look, we got a special guest up in here today. In my opinion, one of the Mount Rushmore big men from Chicago. Led Manly to their only state championship back in 1980. Went on to Purdue, put up his numbers in Purdue, didn't get drafted by the Golden State Warriors in the first round. Played several years overseas. Man, give it up for the big fella, Russell Cross, man. What's up, big fella?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good
Man,
to be
all is
on.
well.
Thanks for having me on today.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. We had to, man. like we had to dig in the crates. You know how when you DJ, man, you go back to them old school that songs, them old school songs. You
Yeah,
like, man, I remember
yeah,
that jam.
Yeah.
Same thing, man. I remember Russell. You doing your thing, man, on the West Side at Manly High School. So we said, man, we got to get Russ on. And my man Bobby found you. He's like, man, I got him, Liv. I got him. I said, man,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
So
sure appreciate it, man.
yes,
I've
sir.
seen a
Yes,
couple
sir.
more you guys shows, and you had some people on, Terry and George, and man, I'm just honored to be on here with you guys. And Marcus, you've had a outstanding career of your own, man, and I appreciate that. My brother Emmanuel told me to tell you hello as well.
I know. I was just going. I told Bobby that earlier. I said his brother, man, played too. So, man, tell Emmanuel next
Yeah,
time you talk to him. I said, "What's up?"
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. So Russ, we gonna dive right on into it, man. When you was a
Oh, let's
shorty
get
on
in.
the when you was a shorty on the West Side, who put that basketball in your hand?
Well, Marcus, be honest with you, man, I wasn't playing basketball until I was in eighth grade. My sport when I was a shorty man was baseball. That's and I was a pitcher man and one heck of a hitter, right? And developed into a Cubs fan during that stint. And then we had tryouts in my eighth grade over at Sumter Elementary School on the west side. And I actually did not make the team. But I went to the guy that was writing down names and told him that the coach told me to put me on the team. So
Wow.
that's where it all started. And then I got my best friend at that time, man, in the world was Maurice Watson, and he was just an outstanding basketball player for an eighth grader. And
Okay.
man, I got under his wing and started playing a little bit, and went from there.
Wow. Wow, that's why I said I like this show, man, because to hear stories, of how most of the guys who came on, like George said, he played baseball. He said he was a
Yeah,
catcher. And now you telling me you was a pitcher, and I'm like, why did I not play
yeah.
baseball? I didn't even play baseball.
Well,
I hear these.
it's a different era, man. We didn't have any PlayStations and stuff like that, man. We had to go outside and make something happen, right? And
Right.
so one of the key things was going out and along with playing marbles and tag and Simon Says and all that. For us, sports was baseball.
Right. Wow. So we have, for all our listeners out here, we have the great Russell Cross joining us on All Ball Chicago. And we just, he just dropped a little bit of knowledge, but we gonna keep it going with some more things. So Russell, after that, you made the, got put on the team, and were you always tall, or did you hit a growth spurt later on?
Well, actually, man, when I was in sixth grade, over one summer, well, seventh grade, over that summer, I grew 6 inches. So I went from 6'1" to 6'7" in
Wow.
one in one summer.
Wow.
And so, needless to say, pretty awkward right? Body wasn't in tune,
Right.
right? And most of us would say goofy, right? But
Right.
that's I'm gonna say awkward since it's me. But
Right.
the deal is, I grew just in one summer, man, 6 inches, and then went from playing baseball to actually started to try to play basketball.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Wow.
So were you zoned for Manly, or you could have went any school on that west side?
No, we were zoned for Manly, from Sumter to Manly or Westinghouse.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, and we chose to go to Manly. Well, we didn't choose anything. My mother told us that's where we were going. That's where we went. That's where we went.
Isn't that
Yeah,
something, man? Isn't that something though? How our parents like my dad did the same thing to me. He was like, "No, you going to Crane," and that was it. I'm like, "Okay, I'm
that's
going to
it.
Crane." But but but
Yeah.
but but to see you, Russell, accomplish so many things, man, coming from Chicago. Did you always have that vision that I want to be somebody, or everything just fell into place?
No, man, it didn't fall into place. Actually, grew up on the west side of Chicago, and we were poor. I mean, we were poor, and our parents did the best that they can. When I tell you poor, I'm not talking about with the R. It was just POO. We spelled poor and R. So our parents did the best that they could, man, and we went to public school, and we had to walk to public school, and then we had each other. It was six of us, and siblings, and my two parents who were one was an evangelist and the other one was an elder, and so we went to church and school and home, and that's pretty much tied it up for us. And then as we got into the later years of grammar school and high school, uh, the baseball opportunity opened up, the basketball opportunity opened up, and I actually wanted to play both sports. And it was funny to say that because I asked my mom at the time and said, "Is it possible that I could play baseball and basketball?" And she, at the time, her response was, "Well, you're probably gonna have to talk to the mayor about that." So we, we didn't have any understanding at that time, but
Oh,
that was even feasible, right? But I wanted to play both because I had such a passion for baseball and then a growth spurt, and now playing basketball, right? So,
but
and education was always a push for my mom and my dad. So those areas were covered for sports and then in academics as well.
wow,
That's good.
wow.
That is
So
good.
how fast could you throw that ball, that baseball? How hard?
I never timed it, but I can tell a fisherman's lie and tell you I can get it up. I can get it up there like Mr. Chapman. But I could throw pretty good, man. I could work fastball, curveball, split finger fastball.
Dang.
No one taught us. We just imitated what we saw on television with the Cubs and the Ferguson Jenkins, Milt Papish, those guys, right?
Wow.
You
So
playing
we were able to
strikeout,
do
right?
that.
You playing strikeout with
Yeah,
the
well,
boxing out
you
there
know
on the
what? We
wall?
were playing. We were playing both. Strike them out off the wall. A lot of people don't know about that, but we were playing strike them out off the wall and
Right.
sandlot. Right?
Right.
We had
Okay.
our neighborhood team, and we would go out and play in the sandlots or vacant lots, and miss everything that was crumbled in it. Right? But it was
Yeah.
Wow.
in the neighborhoods.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, Russell, that you said you watched baseball and mimicked that and then went out. It's the same thing with basketball because I know I did it. I watched television and went out and tried to do it. So I'm pretty sure you did the same thing on the basketball court, mimicking,
Oh no.
some of the idols some of the people that you looked up to and saw on television. Said, man, I like that move that he did. who was one of some of the guys that, because since you were that power forward slash center, who was some of the guys that you looked up to back in the days that played in the NBA before you did?
Yeah, man. I tell you, now y'all gonna laugh at this, but the
Don't say
guys I
Dave
looked at
Corzine.
was I'm gonna go with no, man. And I won't say Tom Borwinkle either, right? But
Okay.
the guys I looked at, man, was Dr. J was my guy, 100%. And
Okay.
then I wanted to play point guard, so Reggie Theus and Magic Johnson, those
Wow.
guys were, And then the good news was, man, while we were at Manly, on a side note with that, Reggie actually came over, man, and was kind of a mentor to us. So
Really?
it was all, yeah, man. He came over and spent some time with us, man, and was a mentor. And I got an opportunity to kind of hang out with him a little bit and see how he handled the ball. And I tried to mimic some of those things in practices. And of course, Coach Willie said, "Hey, get down on the post, big man. What you doing?"
Hey,
Right.
Liv,
So
rewind them back though on that, on the high school thing.
Okay.
Being Manly, the only team to ever do. I mean, it's been 40 years, Liv.
yeah, brother, it's 40,
You
40
break.
years, man. It's been
He was
some
breaking up
time.
a little bit. What'd you say? Oh yeah, man. Shoot. Manly, was, I mean, Russell actually put them on the map. If you ask me, he went actually put, because I know when I was watching basketball, that was 1980, man. I was still a little pup, but I used to read the articles and all that about the guys that's hooping before I even started really getting involved, and I used to
Got
see
it.
the name, and I saw Manly, and
Who
I'm
did
like,
y'all beat though? Who did they beat though for that state championship that year?
I don't know if it was
We beat
Effenhouse,
Effingham.
Effingham,
We
yeah.
beat
What?
Effingham downstate, and man, this was my first opportunity to play against 7-2 opponent.
Was that Uwe Blau?
Uwe Blau, yeah,
Yep.
Uwe Blau,
Dang.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Take us
So,
through that though, Russ. I just want to know because I remember that vaguely. That state
yeah.
championship.
So leading to that, man, we had a very good team from our far south. We kept that team all the way together, man, through our senior year. And so in our junior year, man, we were able to go down state, but we lost to who did we lose to? God, I can't think. It was the Douglas brothers. I can't think of the
Oh,
Quincy.
Quincy. Quincy.
So we lost. Yeah, we lost to Quincy in the first round of being downstate. And so coming back home, um, our rivals in the next year, our rivals was Westinghouse. We had to get over that hump to go downstate. So
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years, they kept us from going downstate. And then we finally beat them in I think it was a double overtime at the amphitheater. And we
Dang.
went downstate and we lost to Quincy. And then we came back that next year and we got over the hump of Westinghouse, and Collins High School became a direct foe. Right? They were right down the street, and they became a direct rivalry of us. And we played them and beat them in the amphitheater that year, and then went downstate. And you guys probably know Tim Anderson, Leonard Jones, Roy Spearman, Ron Washington, Vincent Johnson, Maurice Watson,
That's your
Michael
squad.
Buchanan, Dwayne Rose. That's our squad. We went down there, man, and we weren't scared. We weren't afraid this time. We knew what to expect, and we went down there on a mission and almost lost to Downers Grove in the first game.
Whoa.
That went down to the wire, and after that, man, it was just blowout city until we got to the finals, where we saw Mitch Arnold, who could actually fill that puppy up. The white kid
Right.
could actually fill it up, man. And we used up about 15 fouls on him to make sure that we roughhouse him a little bit and kind of get that thing to shorten up. But we were able to prevail under Coach Willie Little and bring a state title, the only one back to Manly High School, bring a state title back to the city of Chicago, man. It was outstanding.
And we were definitely all proud, man, to see that, because back then it was, and even when my era came, it was only one team, one school going downstate from the CPS. So
Sure.
once one team went down, and we all pulling for that one team to bring home
Exactly
that
right.
trophy. So man.
Exactly right.
And Russell, I think you guys only lost one game that year, right?
Yeah, and it was a controversial call at the end of the game, and it was the only game we lost. And I think, man, we only lost 4 games between my junior and senior year, and the game that we lost was to Collins at our little Cracker Jack gym, and I'll never forget this. Dan Montgomery took the ball out of the net without stepping out of bounds and threw it down to
Oh,
Kenny Snake, and Snake went up to lay the ball up, and I blocked it, and on the backboard, and the referee fell into the crowd because our out of bounds was actually where the crowd was standing. He fell into the crowd. We thought we won the game. He came out and counted the bucket,
oh,
But it
wow,
didn't go in.
we lost. It didn't go in, but
wow,
he counted the bucket, called it goaltending, and we lost. That was the only game we lost that year.
wow. So you guys could have went
Yeah,
undefeated. Wow. Well, you guys did go
yeah,
undefeated.
man.
They cheated you. They cheated you. They
I'm
cheated
gonna
you.
go with they cheated us, bro.
They cheated you, man. So,
Yeah,
so,
man.
so, what do you think about today's game, though? Like in Chicago, I'm not talking about in general. I'm just talking about Chicago basketball. With that setup, the way they have it, and back then when it was set up with the 1A and the 2A only, and the best team from Chicago public schools, the one to go downstate. But now it's kind of, they got all these, classes now. They got 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. Uh, what do you think about that? Do you think it's good for Chicago basketball now that they get multiple with more teams down there, or did you like the setup that they had back in the day?
The setup back in the day was is what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had to fight and crawl to get out of here, and to get the opportunity to get downstate. And I like that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it was do or die, and every game was going to be intense, and the players were up to the task for that. And I also like the format that they have now because it gives a lot more teams an opportunity to get down there to experience the being downstate, seeing some different culture, playing in a bigger arena, and away from Chicago. So in a balance of the two, I kind of draw even on it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I like the era I played in. I like to see the kids because I coach girls um, basketball at River Forest, Trinity and River Forest,
Oh,
and we had an opportunity to go downstate with that team as well, and it was still kind of under the same format we were under. And then after that, man, they split all these divisions up, and now at first, to be honest with you, it was kind of hard for me to keep up. I was like, God, dog, right? Because when I came up, man, it was when we went downstate, it was Channel 9, right?
Yep.
It was Channel 9, and you got an opportunity to. My wife's getting in the car, so
Okay.
but it was Channel 9, and you had an opportunity to be on television for the first time,
Right. Right.
and actually people get an opportunity to see you play that would never have seen you play because you're just here locally in Chicago. But
Mm-hmm.
then they started doing all these divisions. I got lost on that for a minute, and I had to recapture that and understand how they split it up and why they split it up, and kind of enjoyed it after that.
Right. Now let's move on a little forward. We fast forward a little bit. You was a McDonald All American.
Yep.
Who was on your teams? If you remember some of the players that played in that McDonald All American game, and where was it played at?
Oh man, it was played in Oakland, in the Oakland Coliseum, right?
oh, that's
And
nice.
it's crazy because that's where I was drafted, right,
Right.
to play there as well. But Doc Rivers was on that team. Um, Sam Perkins was there.
Oh,
Uh, Earl Jones. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was playing out there. Um, those are, you know, those are the guys I can remember right off the
remember,
top of my head.
right,
But I mean, those are significant basketball players, right? And a very talented group of guys that went out there and played with us.
right. Now, did you commit to Purdue early, or did you wait till later on to sign to play for Purdue? And who was the other teams that recruited you? Because I want to know, how did the University of Illinois, let you get out of the state?
They didn't. They did. They did all they could. my man, my man Derek Harper, man, he recruited me pretty hard on that one.
Okay.
But you know, I'm blessed in that sense that, man, I really had an opportunity, Marcus and Robert, to go to any university I would have decided.
Wow.
And I've narrowed it down to six. Three of them were Big Ten. It was Iowa, Illinois, and Purdue. And then the other one I think was UCLA, and then I forget the other two. But I narrowed it down. Now, the one college that did not recruit me
Not
at
DePaul?
all, no, DePaul did as well, but
Okay.
it was Indiana, Bobby Knight.
Wow.
And
Oh.
yeah, I tried to hurt him every time I got an opportunity to play him, right? But
You
he didn't
took it
recruit me at
personal.
all. Yeah, I
Wow.
took that very personal, right?
Right.
And especially since now he's my direct rival in college, right?
Right.
So I
They
took that
are.
very
They are.
personal. But we had a good opportunity, man. You know, it was pretty hectic, and then there was some controversy as I made my selection. So I made my selection late. I actually had to change up because I had initially selected under some pressures, what I won't go into, right?
Okay.
To
Okay.
go into, and I selected UIC, which is at that time was a Division II school,
Okay.
and they were going to convert it in a year to Division I. And then, man, Coach Gene Cady, Lee Rose was the coach at Purdue, which I fell in love with because I played with him in the Spartakiad games over in Russia as a senior, and going into my senior year. So I really liked Purdue and what I saw there when I was down there practicing with those guys and Joe Barry Carroll and Andrew Toney and all
Wow.
those guys when we were down there, right? So I fell in love with that. And then uh, Coach Rose left and went to South Florida. And Gene Cady came in, and man, he came in and we sat and talked, and he recruited me, and I really liked what he was saying. He didn't have to sell me too much because I liked Purdue, and
Hmm.
man, that's how our relationship started. And I'm glad I made that choice, right?
Yeah. And
But
it's not. And it's
man,
not. And it wasn't too far from Chicago either.
man, that made it even better because it was, you know, a couple hours away. My family would have an opportunity to drive down and see me play, and the other side of that is I'll get an opportunity to come home.
Right. Right.
You
I
know
was
what I'm
gonna
saying?
ask him why he didn't take UCLA because I know that was tempting.
No, UCLA, man, they came in strong, but way too far away, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then right after that, man, they fell into some NCAA violations. So
Ooh.
and yeah, so it was pretty cool. Alabama was one of my other choices too. I went and visited those. Almost
Yeah.
committed to them. I like those as well, but I chose Purdue because it was close. Family could um, come and see me play. New coach uh, had an opportunity to start. Right,
Hmm.
that was key for me. Joe Barry was leaving,
Hmm.
and the backup center that they had at the time, Ted Benson, I thought I could outplay him, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go to Purdue and play because I think Illinois at that time, Marcus, I think they had Holcomb, Griffin, they were solid at the center position,
Okay.
and it would set me back, if I remember correctly, it would set me back a year from playing. You know, I'll probably get some time, but I felt they were pretty established in the middle, and Joe Barry was leaving.
Man, Russell, that's interesting, man, because I wish I would have thought some of the way you was thinking about back then coming out of high school, looking at the players who were there before you and this and that. I was just
Yeah.
caught up in the hoopla, right? I'm like, man, all these schools are recruiting me, this and that. And I never really got a chance to really dissect it and say, you know what? If I go play here, I'm gonna be playing behind this guy. If I go here, I'm gonna be playing behind this guy. Oh, he's got 2 more years left, this and that. But it seemed like you did your homework. You're like, man, you know what? Illinois got 2 centers over there, and they sophomores and freshmen. I can't, man. I'm not going there. So
Yeah.
I like that, and I think this can help some kids understand what this recruiting looks like. That just
Yeah.
because certain schools recruit you doesn't mean you need to really go there unless you do your homework and understand you might be playing behind somebody for 2 years.
Absolutely, and that's a good point, man. And my deal was, even to this day, Marcus and Robert, I don't like sitting on the bench, man. I hate going to watch a game and have to sit on the bench, right? So the deal was, my whole thing was, I desired to play, and I desired to be at an established program. And when Coach Katie came in and gave me an opportunity to start fresh, I mean, he didn't know the players that were there, right? He didn't have no established lineup, right? It was open, and so it is very important to do your homework on the program, the coaches, the players, the opportunity, right? The distance, all of that matters for you to be at a place of being successful in what you want to do.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Marcus, you right though, man. Imagine if you would have really looked at the tip of the scale. Because Marcus would go to another school too. He would have been starting probably as a freshman.
But it is
Yeah,
what
but
it is.
he made up some major ground though.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
hell yeah! I mean, no
Yeah.
Yeah,
question, no
he
question,
made up
man.
some major ground, and that's what happened, because sometimes you can do the right calculations, right, and there's a player there, man, that was underutilized in high school or underutilized on the team that you selected to go to the
Hmm.
university, and he has a breakout year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't. You can do all the calculations. Doesn't mean you're going to get everything you were going after. It still may be a waiting period, and you still may have to work your tail off to get it accomplished, right?
So
That's it.
so is Russell Cross still watching basketball, or you just like, man, that's out of me. I don't care about it no more. I don't have no skin in the game. I don't have no family in the game just playing or anything like that. Are you still watching the game, or you just I don't want to be even bothered with it now.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I can't get it out of me, right? I mean, my head still says I'm 21, ready to go, right? My body don't line up with that, and my wife can tell you, man, we got to watch different TVs because I'm at all levels of basketball, right? My family played basketball. Emmanuel
Yeah.
played basketball. My two sisters played basketball. My niece played basketball, right? She, LaKendra Johnson, played at Michigan State University, right?
Oh.
Everybody played basketball, right? And I wanted her to play at Purdue, just to let y'all know, but she chose Michigan State, right? And then we've got some up and comings, some little crosses that are
Okay.
coming and playing basketball right now. So we're really excited. My niece also is playing here. We call her CC. She's playing here in Chicago as well, right?
Oh,
At North
wow.
Carolina. So I mean, basketball is our life. I mean, we still get into baseball, right?
Right.
We still into that, but basketball is what my family does. It kind of, and I don't know about you, Marcus, but in my family, in my immediate family, if you don't play basketball, we looking at you a little funny, right? Like, what you mean you don't want to play basketball?
It's in your DNA.
You got to you can't be a cross. There
Right.
ain't no cross blood in you at all. You got to be kidding me, right? So
Right.
we really love basketball. I'm glad basketball is back. Live basketball is back on television. I love the classics. Don't get me wrong, right? But I love that the NBA, and I think they're doing a superb job of handling this COVID situation, man, and being in that bubble and playing. But I'm really really excited about that, and really wanted them, the presidents of the universities, to make the right decisions with these young kids, these amateur
Hmm.
athletes, right? Whether they play or don't play, and get the right medical understandings behind that. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
really glad that these guys are playing basketball again live, right?
Yeah.
Because I was depressed at some
I
point,
know,
man. I was
man.
like
Hey,
having
Russell,
withdrawals on this.
Russell, that's one reason why we started All Ball Chicago. I mean, we
What?
was like, man,
Okay.
there's no basketball on. We got to get some. We got to dig in the crates, man, with the flavor, get that flavor back, old and new, and that's why we
Indeed.
that's why we started All Ball Chicago, man. So,
That is
but who?
awesome, man. That is so awesome.
But who is the player that you like in the NBA? Like you really get down with, like every time they come on, I gotta watch them. Is it that you got one player like that or no?
Man, I really don't. I mean, LeBron's always that guy right now, right? I mean,
Yeah,
at this, Jordan was that guy. Kobe was that guy.
yeah.
LeBron's that guy. You got Kawhi. You got
Huh?
Anthony Davis. Man, I mean, you got a plethora of guys. I mean, I like the Dallas team, the two guys that are
Luka
over
in
there,
there.
man.
Hmm.
Oh, Luca and Porzingis, man, they're doing their thing, right?
Right.
I mean, we've got a lot of talent, and just to see Dame Dollar doing what he's doing right now,
Ooh.
right? Oh man, it's just phenomenal, right? So I don't have one particular one person that I say, you know what, it's a must see, but I love seeing some good matchups. I can't wait to see Clippers and
Hmm.
Lakers, right? I love the Golden State era when they was running through, man, and wish I could shoot like
Hey, Lib, I think he
Steph and
answered
Clay.
your question, Lib.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
If they don't
So
play ball in his house, ain't no basketball.
Yeah. And the wife probably be
yeah,
mad at you, boy. Y'all,
I'm gonna
y'all,
go
you.
with dude. Every time she walks in, not again. Are you kidding me? I've been watching the TV, this, that, and the other, and my reply is, "Well, I thought you got that television for me, right?" But I'm a sports fanatic, but basketball is definitely my deal.
Hey, Liv, both of y'all share similar stories, man, because you came from the projects, he come from the poverty and West Side. But both of y'all was able to rise above that and play in the Big Ten, man. How did that feel, man? I can only imagine, what was it, 20, 30,000 fans in there, man?
Man, it was
Yeah.
it was it was awesome, man, for me, because one thing I wanted to make sure that I knew that where I was born and raised, that I wanted to make a difference. Like I wanted to give the next young man or female who came out of my neighborhood that you can make it too. So that was my mindset. It wasn't I was thinking about I'm gonna go to the NBA. It's like, man, I got an opportunity to go play basketball and get a free ride, because that's what my mentors used to always tell me. Make sure you get the education, man, get that scholarship, man. So basketball can help you, get that scholarship. So that's what I was going through. So Russell, I don't know if your story is similar to mine, but you can share it right now.
Yeah, man, it's very similar, right? It was our way out of the hood, man. It was an opportunity, and we wanted to make good on that, right?
Mm,
And my parents, man, always instilled in us that make God first,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm,
right? And He'll take you places that you wouldn't imagine. So they said that, Russ, this is a God-given gift that
Mm.
you have, and the Bible says that your gift will make room for you. And
mm-hmm,
so, man, by that, our gift did make room for us to go places, man, that my parents couldn't afford to send us, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I probably would have naturally never checked into Purdue, right? I
Mm-hmm.
probably had a job somewhere, right? So it was a privilege and it was an honor to go and play at these universities, and you got some bureaucratic stuff too, right? That you had to deal with, in terms of recruiting, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of who's gonna play because of your color skin and all that stuff, right? All of that's in there, right? All of that in that package. You got people are just your friends because
Yeah.
you play
Ooh.
basketball, right? And
Ooh.
then they don't know you outside of that, right? And
mm.
people, we went to people, we dealt with people, places, and things that we probably would have never tapped or put our toe on or shook hands with because of this opportunity. So it was just outstanding to do that, and like Marcus, coming behind me, it was and me behind Isaiah, Mark Aguirre, Terry Cummings. It was essential that we set the path for them to come behind us, and not only reap the benefits of playing, but even make it better. And I think Marcus
Right.
and his heir and the people that came behind him, they made it even better
Right.
to the point now. There's some good recognition behind. Hey, you know what? Maybe we ought to pay some of these guys
Yeah.
some change,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they are what's drawing people to the university and bringing all that money in. And yeah, you get a free ride in terms of dollars, but you broke.
Right. Right.
That's real, right? You broke,
Yeah,
so you
that's
can't
facts.
work.
That's facts.
You can't work, and so they need some type of stipend that should be set up for them. And I think that happened through the progression of time,
Mm-hmm.
from our era all the way through yours, Marcus, all the way now to now. So yeah, it was an absolute privilege to do that.
Man,
That's real.
again, to our listeners, man, we got Russell. We just lost him for a minute. Hopefully, we'll get him
That's
back
all right.
on. Are you
Yeah,
back on?
man. No, I'm coming. I'm with you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Somebody
Okay.
tried to call me.
All right. And
Okay.
then we got Russell, man, on, and I want to ask Russell this question too about what we could do better with CPS, meaning helping promote some of the players that came before a lot of the kids that you see now that's playing in the CPS, but getting them back out there because, like you said, Russell, you love basketball. I love basketball. Terry Cummings, they love basketball. Mark Aguirre love basketball. How can we get involved back in the CPS because that's where it started for us at, and I think if the CPS can somehow get us back involved, meaning coming and speak to some of these schools about what it looks like to be a professional on and off the court, then maybe we can just help and save some of our kids, our youth lives from going down the wrong path.
Yeah, man. Great point. Great point. Great question. Yeah, man. We need a better program where we can come back and share some knowledge, right? That is essential. That is essential
Hmm.
because we can kind of talk to what kids are projecting to go to and what the expectations are. Now, along with their coaches and along with uh, former players in those same situations, because I went back to Manly not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago, when they were playing, and got an opportunity, man, to talk to some of the kids.
Oh wow.
And it was amazing to me that, man, they understood basketball players before me.
Oh
They were
wow.
talking basketball
Whoa.
before then, man. So it was just outstanding to see. They were really endowed in basketball, right? But I really think they need some mentors outside of their immediate coaches,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they need parent involvement, especially the men folk need to be a little bit more on site, on scene, a little bit more hands on, and do some better mentoring in terms of fathers, right,
Mm-hmm.
and ex players because we came up, man. If you didn't play on the team, you definitely played on the playground,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
We got some playground legends,
That's right.
right, that never played on a organized team inside.
Right.
Uh, but we need the fathers. We need the fathers. We need the coaches, and we need the ex players to kind of come back and embrace it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus, your point was, what can we do?
Mm-hmm.
We can go back now and help them not only with mentorship, but man, start up some camps.
Mm-hmm.
We got folks, they can't afford to go to these camps, but and CPS doesn't have a budget
Mm-hmm.
for summer activities like that. But we
Dang.
can go back, man, and find these sites
Right.
and bring these programs in where we're not only mentoring in life, in academics, but we're actually schooling men on the court as well. To talking about ethics, how do you work yourself,
Mm-hmm.
having not a backup plan, but a plan,
Ooh.
right?
Right,
For
right,
life, right? And that if basketball doesn't work out, you're not falling on a plan B. You just continuing on your plan.
Right.
Because if we're talking about businesses and franchising, we're going to be talking about that in the NBA as well, right?
That's
So if
right.
you got a career in the NBA, I'm still talking to you about franchising and business opportunities. So we should be still talking about that, right, in the forefront of them playing basketball as well. So I think the mentoring aspect is really, really key. And if CPS would open those doors for those opportunities, I think we'll see a better richness of our inner city kids and our Chicagoland kids coming forth.
Right. And I agree with you,
right.
Russ. But I think if like you said, if those doors open for us, I think with the resources that we will have coming, to attach, their names to what we're doing and all about for Chicago. I think a lot of your Nikes and your Coca Colas or your Gatorades, your Jumpman, Michael
Exactly.
Jordan, all of them will come on board because it's one positive and it's former athletes giving back. So I think if we can,
Absolutely.
implement that some kind of way and put that together on paper, I think we can make that happen because then I think the Isaiah Thomas and the Mark Aguirre's and Eddie Johnson and the list can go on and on. But
Yeah.
somebody just needs to spearhead that to get it going, and I think the rest it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely got to get a seat at the table with CPS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to anchor that and and move it forward, right?
Yeah.
And I tried to do that with the Manly group, and then we fell into the COVID situation. And so
Mm-hmm.
once that's lifted, I'm gonna still go back there, man, and sit down with the people that are at that facility, at that school, and see if we can establish something there, right? And I'm willing to work with anybody on a broader scale to accomplish that as well, right? And I don't
Yeah.
want to just be
I'm in.
a gaffer or
Hey,
somebody
you
just
know
saying
what?
something. I actually want to do it.
You
Yeah.
got to go. All you got to do, man. You guys, man, are legends in Chicago. So if you get a good relationship, reach out to Lori Lightfoot. She basically ready to do anything, man. You know. So that's your starting point right there. The mayor and the
Yeah.
superintendent of police. You get them on board, man. You guys come back in. Most of you guys, man, are still a lot of them are still here. So I think, yeah, man, it'd be a great idea, man.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's needed, and I think it would help, I'm not gonna say it's gonna stop all of the gangs and violence and all that, but it can save some, and I think that is the key, that we need to save that next generation, that next doctor, that next lawyer, that next mayor, that next president. We have one, so who's to say we can't have another black president, in office.
Hey,
So
start with eighth
Exactly
graders,
right.
Liv. Start with the eighth graders before they get to high school. And then from there, in 10 years, you can see a change, man.
well, everything started like that, Bob. Think about it. Even in basketball, it was called grassroots. So
Mm-hmm.
it's starting at the bottom to make sure you have the proper fundamentals, the techniques, and all that. Same thing with
Right,
school. You gotta
right,
you gotta attack them before they get to high school. So
right.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm all in
Yeah,
on that.
and that's tough, man. It's good words, but that's tough because of the hungry hounds
Yep.
that are around these kids, right? And they're feeding them bad information. I mean, kids are getting recruited, guys, at grammar school level
Yeah.
for colleges, man. That's pretty intense, right?
Right,
Signing letters of intent and following that all the way through the process, all the way through the college. That's a lot of pressure, man. And so
right.
we need some strong people
Yeah.
to kind of hover around, right? Because we everybody's not out for good or for the sake of the person or the child, right? A lot of people are just out here, hey man, I got an opportunity to make me some cash on this person and ride this person's back, and if I show them some politeness, buy them things and do certain activities for them, right? I'll get the reward at the very end, man. And that's a shame, but it's going to take a solid effort and some people that ain't just talking
Yeah.
and ready to get down into some knuckles and
Hmm.
help these kids, right?
Yeah. As I remember stories, Russell, with my brothers. I had two older brothers, and they used to always tell me, "Don't take nothing from nobody." When you're
Yeah,
away from us, don't take no money. Don't do because they want something. Their motives are totally different. You may think they love you and want to hang around you, and they're your boys. When
yeah,
you sign that check, man, you remember I took care of you. So
yeah,
my brothers, I had a good family, man, that showed me that, if you need something, come to the family, because we don't want nothing from you. We love you because you are our brothers. So
yeah. Absolutely,
yeah, so we get
absolutely.
that. We get that.
I think if we mirror, because Martin and Robert, when I got drafted
Hmm.
and in my rookie year, there was no criteria for rookies. It was you sign and you show up, and ain't nobody talking to you about social activities, how to hold your money together, man. You got vultures out here,
Yep.
groupies, you got all that. We didn't have none of that. It was just show up, man. You better be ready. You better be ready to play.
How
And
was
and
that though,
man, and
Russ?
if you get broke, you broke, right?
How was that though
But
when you went pro?
I mean, it's just like I told you, right?
Right.
when you when you plug in, it's you. It was just you, right? You and your agent. And for most agents, it was, hey, let's get this contract signed, and then I'll see you on the next time you get signed, right?
Oh,
And
Wow.
uh, and that's a reality, right? That's not something I'm
Yeah.
making up, right?
right.
And it was just you, and you can't go, okay, well, Mickey Johnson's on the team with me. Speaking of a Chicago guy, he's on
Hmm.
the team with me at Golden State, and as much as nice as he is, man, we're both fighting for the same position.
Right.
So do you think he gonna tuck me under his arm and say, "Hey, man,
No.
No.
come
No.
on, I'm gonna help you take my spot"? No, you're not gonna do that, right?
No.
It
Right.
is every man for himself.
Hmm.
But now they have a program of introduction. And
Mm.
I stated that one night after we played at Denver. I said they need a program to help us make this transition.
Right.
And I think Bob Lanier is leading that charge, or he was leading that charge, helping these young players as they come in, man, and give them a true understanding of what you really getting into.
Mm.
Because
Right.
at the time, you're thinking, I'm 20, 21 years old. I'm going in, hey man, I ain't got no formal training on how to handle stuff, and hey, you know what? I need to hire me a workout coach, and
Right.
it was just like, wait a minute, man, I got a couple dollars.
Right.
Let me hit the city, spend some dough. I'm gonna
Yeah.
step up,
I,
And the funny story about the guys is they said, hey, we got volunteer practice, right? And I thought that was my day off. Right? So I come in the next day, man. They mad at me, right?
Right.
Why you didn't show up? You weren't working on your game, blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, it was the day off. We didn't practice yesterday. And they was like, no, man, that opportunity is not for you.
Right.
You need to
oh,
show up and be and practice, work on your game, do some conditioning, whatever that is, so that you can help the team. And I wasn't under that understanding, right?
Right.
So now, man, they bring them, sit them in a room, and break it down for them. And I think that's a model we can use when kids are making the transitions from grade school to college,
Mm.
or at least have a conversation. The Bible says this way: it says, "Bring up a child in the way that it should go,
Good.
so
Hmm.
that when
hmm,
they get old, it won't depart away from that." At
Right.
least they got
right.
a chance or an opportunity to do that. So I think, from our era to now, I think that the NBA is doing a real good job with that, and I think we could model that in other levels.
It's real.
Again, man, we have the legend Russell Cross joining us on All Ball Chicago. Man, we really, really appreciate you spending this time with us. I know you got your wife in the car with you, man, and I know she probably looking at you like, boy, get off that phone and that video while
Have
you
me on
driving.
again.
Liv, you know I always got one more question before you go, though. You know that.
All
I
right,
always got one more question. Liv, I
Come
do
on
this
with it,
every
man.
time. I do it every time.
go ahead.
You went and played overseas after you left Golden State. How was that
That's
run,
correct.
man? You got to close us out on that. How was that? You played in.
That was crazy at the first. I had a economic shock going over there. Nobody speaking my language. I'm pointing at stuff and I'm cussing and nobody really understands what I'm trying to get accomplished over there. Right? I was in Italy and the only thing I could think of was bread and the only words I could say was ciao. That was it. And so initially it wasn't good, right? But
Right.
I did my part. I still played, man. They paid us and all that good stuff. But the next 6 years I played in Spain and had some successes there. Was able to pick up another language, a lot more Spanish than I did when I was in school, right? Because people don't really know you're living on the economy. You're not in a bubble where people speak a lot of English, and you have to adapt. And that was strange initially going over for a little, a West Side kid, right?
Right.
And played over there, man. Had some successes, and I thank God I had the opportunity to travel and put my feet down in some places, man, and understand some different cultures and the way they operate. I got to tell you guys, the best food I've had was in Italy.
Mm.
Just a lot of my favorite dishes are from there, and they were all uh, authentic and original, and
Mm-hmm.
pizzas in the oven and all that good stuff, man. So got an opportunity to really live a life that I probably would have never had, man, if it wasn't for God, number one, and number two, the gift of playing basketball.
All
Yeah,
right.
George
Well,
Montgomery. George Montgomery. He showed you love yesterday. Is that your brother?
I
Before we
love,
go, that's his.
man. Hey, man, I love George. We played together. George and I played together at the CBA, and we got a chance to know one another, man. And we were like brothers. We had moments where we loved one another, and moments where we didn't love each other so much. But George is an awesome man. I love him. It was great competing against him at Illinois. I reached out to him when Coach Henson passed, man,
mm-hmm.
because I was recruited by Coach, and he was a great man. And George, he gave George a good opportunity there, and George did well. I didn't like to play against George because George had them long arms,
Yep.
I go over the shot, man. He could meet me, and he didn't have to jump as half as high as I did because of those arms, man. But I like George very, very much, man, and I bless him, and I really am happy for his son, JaVale, man, and it's just wonderful to see that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But before we go, I always do this before we go. But I'm gonna sneak another one in. Two questions. One, what are you up to now? Like, what are you doing now? And then, what kind of advice would you give to the next up and coming, student athlete?
Absolutely, man. I'm a full time ministry. I'm a pastor at the Next Level of Faith Christian Center International, where my pastor is Pastor Emmanuel Cross Senior. Right,
What?
my brother.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're there, man, and I'm also on the board president at I Care Ministries, which my mother is the CEO there. So it's an out-of-town school program, a mentoring program, and we service about 2,000 people in the Austin and Humboldt Park area. So, and I'm married to this wonderful lady that's next to me. We have 6 kids, right? One girl and no, I counted wrong. I went to Manly, don't hold it. I got one girl and 4 boys. One unfortunately is deceased, but and we have 5 grandbabies. So man, God is really good. I'm retired from work, working a job and everything, man. So able to mentor men and young boys, and it's been a blessing to do that, right? So
Awesome, man.
my my advice to the up and coming, and most people may not agree with me, but this is my advice, right?
Hmm.
Make God first.
My man.
Make God first, right? Acknowledge that He is, and that He's a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. Make God first, and He'll take you places that, as Joel Osteen would say, that you would never imagine.
That's
You'll
my main man.
fulfill your dreams. You'll have dreams while you sleep, but when you awake, you'll have a vision. And when you have a vision, you write that vision down and you make it plain, so that when you read it, that you can run with it, that you can accomplish what you go after. It doesn't matter your creed, your color, your gender, your religion. You stick to the plan that God has instilled into your life. You honor your parents, both your father and your mother, whether they live in the house or not, and your days will be long. And you'll have a plan to establish yourself not only in sports, but in life, in business, and those things are very important, is to be well balanced and well rounded. And then work your tail off.
My
Know
man.
your purpose.
Hmm.
Work and work and work, and do what you need to do. Use resources. Use resources, because you are powerful by yourself. But with somebody else, man, you can get some things accomplished, because they can use their power, their influence, and their resources to help you. Get a mentor. Get somebody that can mentor you. Don't know everything. And last of all, read. I read the Bible. That's one good book that is faith filled and helped me. But read.
Right.
Read what your purpose is. If you know your purpose, find some literature to read about that, so that you can accomplish in a shorter time what it took that person that wrote the book. 40 years, 50 years, you can accomplish it in a year. And always have a year plan, 18 months at the most. Don't go 5 years, have a year, 18 months, and have that plan. And I'm telling you, if you make God first, you'll see the rewards that you're going after.
Man. My man, Russell.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Man, man, that
Yes,
was
sir.
deep. That was deep, man, and we
Yes,
really
sir.
appreciate you and your wife, man, for sharing your knowledge, letting you share your knowledge, because I know she can be like, man, let's pull off, let's go, we gotta go, we gotta
She
go
was
eat,
like,
we gotta. But I
she
really,
was
we
like
really,
this. Hey, Marcus and Robert, she was like this. Basketball again? We've been talking basketball. That's it. She's not a sports fan at all, guys. She's not a
wow,
sports at all. No, man. We were watching the Bears, and I know we're gonna go. We was watching the Bears one time, and this a couple years ago, and we were sitting back watching the Bears, and as we're watching it, I'm explaining what's going on, this, that, and the other, and they made a bad play,
uh-huh.
and she goes, "Come on, Lovey." I said, "Wait a minute, baby. Lovey's at least 5 years removed." But
Oh man,
I couldn't. I'll be honest with you guys. I couldn't do any of this ministry, mentoring, nothing without my wife Marilyn. I couldn't do it at all. And she's allowing me to do that, and she's a great support for me, a great help me, and man, she keeps me well established in what needs to be done, even sometimes I don't want to do it, right? And we lock horns on some things, but man, overall, I love this woman, and I couldn't do it without her.
wow,
Amen. Amen.
amen. And Russell, man,
She
before
don't
we
want to
go,
get on the camera?
before we go, Russell,
No, she
yeah,
Okay.
said no.
but before we go, Russ, man, I just want to say from me to you, man, I appreciate what you did for Chicago, how you laid that foundation for the next generation, which was me coming up after you. So I just want to say, man, thank you for that opportunity, and thank for giving me hope that a young kid from Chicago can be somebody. So, man, I
Oh
appreciate you.
man, thank you, man. Thank you again, you and Robert, for having me on. Also want to thank you for being a good role model for people that came behind you, and you blazed that trail, man, and you gave those kids hope and opportunity as well. So thank you as well.
My man. All right, man. Love you, man. Stay safe in
Love you too,
Chicago.
sir.
Russell
All right.
Cross, the
And
All
when
right,
legend.
I
Robert. Hey, man, thanks for the communication. Thanks for reaching out, Robert. I
Hey,
greatly
I was
appreciate that.
harassing you, boy. I was harassing.
Yeah, man, that's all right. Hey, man, I bless you guys in the name of Jesus, man, and I really hope that this program go not only viral but national, man. You guys are doing a tremendous job. Keep up the good work.
Amen.
appreciate it. Make
It's
sure you
our
tell
pleasure,
my
big fella.
make sure you tell my man Emmanuel I said what's up too, man. And
I'm
when
gonna
I
do
come to
that, man. I'm
Chicago,
gonna do that.
when I come to Chicago, I'm coming to the church, man. Tell him I'm gonna swing by.
All right, you got it, man. I'm gonna hold you to it.
All righty.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
Love
good
you.
seeing y'all,
All
man.
right, big
Peace.
fella.
All right.
All right now.
Peace. Gone. Man. Got it.
People always like, why you be smiling so much on the show? If you was me, you'd be smiling too.
Right. So
You get to
guess
sit back and just listen to these dudes share their stories, man. Come on, man.
right.
Hey, this stuff is live to me, man. It's fun. It's stuff that I want to know. So,
Let's
all
give a
good.
shout out. Give your shout outs, man.
Oh man, Big George was checking us out, man. Thanks, Big George, for checking us out. Uh, my Reginald Martin, he was checking us out. David Julius, Marcellus Brown, Tarvis Felton. I believe Tarvis Felton, coach, one of the head coaches over there, one of these universities. Stanley Gay, Joe Bailey. We got a couple of streams going, so there's quite a few people.
Right, because I see somebody over on mine. My man Craig from Robert Taylor's. That's my man. We grew up together. Eddie Smith, Aaron Foster, my man. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to everybody who's been watching and listening and tuning in to All Ball Chicago. It's something that we wanted to do, man. Get back to Chicago, let people remember some of the guys that came before them and the guys just after. So All Ball Chicago, we all about uplifting our community and bringing in some CPS legends, suburbians from the state of Illinois. It's just not about Chicago, but we also want to, pay our dues to, people that's from the suburbs as well.
That's right. Chicago, all ball Chicago, man. Make sure y'all shoot over that Believe Podcast Network and subscribe to Believe Podcast Network, All Ball Chicago. Subscribe to our YouTube page. And man, share it amongst your friends, man. We're trying to get up to 10 to 15,000 people, man, by next month on our All Ball Chicago YouTube page, Facebook page. Man, come on, man. Hit us up, man. We're trying to continue to drop these jewels, man. And man, Marcus Libby, you did it again, big guy.
Think it. I used to, man. Somebody used to always tell me this, so it always stuck in my head. Think it, be it, see it. So that's my motto, man. Think it, be it, see it.
And he mentioned my man Joel Osteen. Dude, I listen to Joel Osteen all day, every day, man. I
And
mean, literally.
I didn't been to the church, man, in Houston, so
Well, then, I mean, I
I
can't
didn't saw
touch that right there.
yeah, I didn't saw it. I saw it up. He's so inspirational, man.
That's
That
what I'm saying,
not
bro.
just not just by preaching the word, but also inspiring people to be better. But we too, that's what we're doing right here now, man. We're inspiring people to be better, moms, be better daddies, be better brothers, be better sisters, be better friends. And the rest to take care of itself, man. We don't need to hate on each other. We need to uplift each other. And I'm big
Right.
on it.
That's right, man. And we, of course, we don't have any shows tomorrow. Today is Thursday, our last show of the week. We had Big George Montgomery yesterday. Then we turn around back with Big Russell today. Come on, Clash of the Titans, Liv. Clash of the Titans, baby. So next week, though, you say you got somebody special for next week, so they can.
Yeah, man. I've been talking to him. So Tuesday, we might as well say it, man, so people can start being prepared for it. Bo Ellis, the legendary Bo Ellis, another Chicagoan. Who went on to Marquette and also made it to the NBA. That's what I'm talking about. So when we were just talking about how many great athletes, and I can say I can touch on other sports too, but I play basketball, so that's what I'm focusing on. But there's a lot of successful athletes who came from Chicago, CPS, that made it to the majors, whether that's major League Baseball, Major League Football, Major League Basketball. They made it to the top, so let's try to put something to get together, Chicago, and get Chicago back to where everybody just wanted to enjoy and watch and play sports and get the academics and go on and be successful and then come back to their communities and build that up.
That's right. That's right, man. Ain't no sense in me saying nothing else, bro. That was strong enough right there for me, big bro.
All
That was
right.
strong enough, man. All Ball Chicago, man. I'm your co-host, Robert Bobby Reed, and I got the legend, the NBA veteran, the Mcdonald All-American, your host, Marcus Liberty. What you finna be on, big fella?
Man, I got to get my look away, my magic.
My man, Marcus Liberty, man.
Man,
Peace, big bro.
I'm out of here, man. Peace, be safe, and
Enjoy
man,
y'all
talk
weekend.
about your
Oh yeah,
talk
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
your device, man, before
Oh
we go.
man. Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna be dropping this. I got the device dropping September 25th. The world's first social distance device called the Coaching. And Liv going Dorsey, he know he is because he one of my main man. But it's helped amplify your voice, and also it gives you space when you're working with people. So that's gonna be next week. We'll be able to do some demonstrations and all of that. But I want to also touch on this before we get out of here. We want to get more candid with All Ball Chicago because I was with your main man, Tracy Dildy, and he said he wants to come on here and give the candid Tracy Dildy story. So if you have a candid story, you want to come on here and tell your story, let's rock, man. The Tracy
Right.
Dildy story.
Tracy Dildy. So we might do two next week then. We might do two. We
Yeah.
get Tracy to come on, man, maybe on that Wednesday. So you
Ooh.
start planning that, Rob, and see what Tracy's schedule look like next week, man. And I think that's gonna be all right because Tracy was the point guard that everybody was talking about back in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What high school did he go to?
Oh man, he was that Jaguar, them King Jaguar, King Jaguar,
He
them King
went to the
Jaguar,
Kane. He went to the Kane.
the mighty King Jaguars,
Shout
baby.
out to King, man. Shout out to King, man.
Yeah,
Man, we up
man.
out here. I'm hungry
All
than a
right.
hostage, big
Well,
man.
go ahead, man. Get you something to eat, man. All
All
Ball
right.
Chicago. We love you.
Peace.
Peace.